"They're coming for us," Kellen said, his grip tightening on the console. "Brace for impact," Elira commanded. The first shadow struck the ship's shields, and the entire vessel groaned under the strain. The lights flickered as systems overloaded, and an eerie, high-pitched sound echoed through the ship. "Shields are holding, but their integrity is dropping rapidly," Levos reported. "These entities are draining our energy reserves." Elira's mind raced. Divert non-essential power to the shields. Focus everything on holding them off. As the crew scrambled to execute her orders, Elira stared at the core on the screen. The shadows were a distraction. She was certain of it. Their true purpose was to protect the gateway until it fully activated. If they couldn't stop the shadows, they had to stop the core itself. "Kellen," she said, turning to him, "we need to get closer to that core. If we can disrupt its energy field, we might be able to delay the activation." Kellen hesitated. "Closer? Are you serious? We'll be sitting ducks." "We're already sitting ducks," she replied. "But if we don't take the risk, we'll be dead ones." He nodded, grim determination on his face. "Then let's make it count." The Radiance pushed forward, its engines straining against the gravitational distortions surrounding the core. The shadows intensified their assault, slamming into the ship's shields like a relentless storm. Alarms blared as more systems began to fail. "Captain, we are reaching critical levels," Levos warned. "If the shields collapse—" "They won't collapse," Elira interrupted, her voice firm. "We won't let them." As they neared the core, Elira activated the ship's experimental EMP disruptor, a device designed for emergency use against hostile technology. "Levos, calculate the exact frequency of the core's energy field. We're going to overload it." "Processing," the AI said. "Frequency identified. Adjusting disruptor parameters now." The ship shuddered violently as another wave of shadows struck, but the disruptor powered up, emitting a low hum that reverberated through the hull. "Disruptor ready," Levos announced. "Fire!" Elira ordered. The disruptor unleashed a burst of energy, a wave of light that collided with the core's field. The effect was immediate. The core's glow flickered and the shadows recoiled, their forms destabilizing. "It's working!" Kellen shouted, but before they could celebrate, the core retaliated. A pulse of energy erupted from its center, sending shock waves through the distortion field. The Radiance was thrown backward, its systems flickering dangerously. "Status," Elira demanded, gripping the console to steady herself. "The core's energy levels are fluctuating," Levos reported. "However, the gateway activation process has not stopped. The destabilization appears to have triggered an alternate protocol." "What kind of protocol?" Kellen asked. Levos hesitated. "The gateway is now preparing to open in both directions." Elira's stomach dropped. "You mean it's not just bringing something here, it's sending something out?" "Correct," the AI confirmed. "And the destination appears to be Earth." The Radiance drifted amidst the chaotic distortion field, its systems groaning under the strain of maintaining cohesion. The core ahead pulsed erratically, its brilliance ebbing and flowing as it struggled to stabilize. The knowledge that Earth was now a target ignited a new sense of urgency on the bridge. "Levos," Elira said, her voice taut. "Calculate the timeline for the gateway's full activation. How long do we have?" "Approximately 3 minutes," the AI replied. "Both inbound and outbound pathways will stabilize simultaneously." Kellen cursed under his breath. "We're running out of options, Captain." Elira's mind raced. They had managed to destabilize the core briefly, but its resilience was beyond anything they had encountered. If they couldn't destroy it outright, then they needed a plan to sever its link to both ends of the gateway. "We're not out of moves yet," she said. "Levos, can the EMP disruptor be modified to emit a continuous pulse instead of a single burst?" "Modifications are possible, but will require diverting power from all non-critical systems, including life support," the AI warned. "Do it," Elira said without hesitation. "Wait," Kellen interjected, his face pale. "Life support? We'll have no air." "We're out of time, Kellen," Elira replied, locking eyes with him. "It's a calculated risk. If we don't stop this thing, air won't matter for anyone." Kellen hesitated, then nodded grimly. Understood. The ship's lights dimmed as power was rerouted to the disruptor. The hum of the engines quieted, replaced by the low vibration of the charging device. The crew exchanged uneasy glances but remained focused on their tasks, trusting Elira to lead them through the storm. The shadows renewed their assault, sensing the Radiance's intent. They slammed into the ship's hull with increasing ferocity, causing sparks to shower from exposed conduits. Elira gripped the edge of her console, her knuckles white. "Levos, activate the disruptor the moment it's ready," she commanded. "Charging at 85%, 90%. Disruptor ready," the AI confirmed. "Fire it up," Elira shouted. The ship released a continuous pulse of electromagnetic energy, creating a field that rippled outward. The shadows writhed and dissipated, their forms dissolving like smoke in the wind. The core's glow flickered violently, its energy output dropping as it struggled to maintain control. "It's working," Kellen said, a rare note of hope in his voice. But the victory was short-lived. The core unleashed another retaliatory surge, this time directly targeting the Radiance. The ship rocked violently, throwing crew members to the floor. Consoles exploded in showers of sparks, and the hum of the disruptor faltered. "Disruptor offline," Levos announced. "System integrity compromised." Elira pulled herself up, coughing from the smoke that filled the bridge. "Reboot it now." "Captain," Kellen said, pointing to the viewport. "Look." The core had shifted, its energy condensing into a singularity. The gateway began to materialize, a swirling vortex of light and shadow that expanded rapidly. Through the vortex, a glimpse of Earth appeared, a fragile blue-green sphere floating against the void. "They're starting to send something through," Kellen said, his voice trembling. "And it's not stopping." Elira stared at the vortex, her mind racing. "Levos, is there any way to collapse the gateway from our side?" "Theoretically, yes," the AI replied. "A detonation within the core's energy matrix could destabilize the entire structure. But that would destroy the ship," Kellen said. "And us." "It's the only chance we've got," Elira said. She turned to her crew, her expression resolute. "Prepare for evacuation. I'll stay behind to guide the ship." "Captain," Kellen began. "That's an order," she snapped. "If this thing reaches Earth, billions will die. We can't let that happen." Kellen clenched his fists, his face etched with anguish, but he nodded. "Yes, Captain." The crew began evacuating to the escape pods, their faces a mixture of fear and determination. Elira watched them go, her chest tightening. These people had trusted her, followed her, and now she was sending them to safety while she faced the end alone. "Levos," she said once the bridge was empty. "Plot a collision course with the core, maximum velocity." "Course plotted," the AI replied. "Detonation parameters set. You will have approximately 30 seconds to eject before impact." "Understood," Elira said, settling into the captain's chair. She took a deep breath, her gaze fixed on the vortex. Through it, she could see something emerging, a massive, shadowy figure that dwarfed the core itself. Whatever was coming, it was unlike anything she had ever imagined. As the Radiance accelerated toward the core, Elira activated the ship's comm system. To everyone listening, humanity has always found strength in the face of the impossible. We've pushed through every storm, every trial, because we refuse to give up. This isn't the end, it's just another beginning. The ship trembled as it neared the core, its hull groaning under the strain. Elira activated the ejection sequence, bracing herself as the captain's pod detached from the ship. Through the viewport, she watched as the Radiance plunged into the core, its silhouette disappearing into the blinding light. A moment later, the core erupted in a cascade of energy, the vortex collapsing in on itself. The shadowy figure disintegrated, its form scattering into the void. The shockwave propelled Elira's pod into the distance, spinning uncontrollably until it stabilized. When the light finally faded, the space around the core was empty, silent once more. Elira exhaled, her body trembling with exhaustion and relief. The gateway was gone, and Earth was safe. For now. As her pod drifted through the debris field, she allowed herself a moment of reflection. Humanity had faced countless challenges, but this one felt different. The shadows, the core, the gateway, they were just the beginning of something far greater. And whatever came next, she knew humanity would be ready.